Good evening, YouTubers. Affliction back here with you guys, gals. I wanted to share another gun that I enjoyed shooting. I thought it may be a little information to pass on to you guys and some of your fun sessions at the range. Gun that I picked up recently, a couple months ago, is a Savage Mark II. And this is a great firearm, very accurate, comes out of the box pretty accurate. It's got a very smooth bolt, an awesome bolt, just a great plinker, if you will. One of the things I didn't like about it when I first got this at the gun shop, it came with this synthetic black nylon stock, which I didn't really like the length of pull on it too much. I didn't really like the cheek weld on it. It just didn't really fit my needs, you know, as a bench shooter that I am and that I kind of been shooting lately. And I decided to 86 this and get rid of it. And when I searched the internet and I looked on different websites, as in my previous review of my Ruger, you may have seen that, I got to, shout out to Boyd's Gun Stocks. I love their product. If you're looking for a quality wood stock that's not going to break the bank, I would definitely go with Boyd's. I've had one on my Ruger. I got one on this Savage. This is a Savage Mark II. This is a Evolution SS stock. If you look at the Boyd's website, it comes in beautiful wood laminates. He's got all different colors of laminate, blues, greens, camouflage. I really love this stock a lot. It fits the gun very well. It's got a nice rubber butt pad that they put on the stock, and with this Evolution SS, I mean, it's just like, when they advertise, I mean, it really fits the palm swell of your hand beautifully. Put your thumb on the other side so you get a really nice, you can shoot it offhand if you want, or from a bench. Very comfortable. I mean, it looks a little futuristic, I know. I've had a lot of comments about it at the range, what kind of stock is that, where'd you get it and such. But, I mean, as far as comfort and function, it's got a beautiful cheek weld here for your cheek. So each time you get, instant return and, repetition looking into the scope. One thing that I did do was when I first got the stock, the action needed to be embedded a little lower to get the back of this actually in the stock. So I took a broom handle with some double stick tape and just taped some light sandpaper, and I just went back and forth, taking my time, testing it till I got it just right, and the action sits in there beautifully now, and I was able to get the two screws into the housing there, and man, it just makes a wonderful, fun plinker. I mean, this is probably my favorite gun right about now, even aside from the ARs and such. It's cheap to shoot, it's fun, I like it a lot. And then again, Boyd, it's a great product. And this again, I think this was one that came unfinished. I got it unfinished because it had a little ding right in here, just the grain went the wrong way, I guess. And I took it, I put 4 or 5 coats of clear polyurethane on that, and look at that baby. I mean, shines right up. Awesome wood finish. And I like a wood stock, I'm kind of a wood man. And very pleased with it. The other thing that the stock Savage comes with the top tapped, but they don't actually provide any scope mounts for your scope. So the top comes tapped, but there's no mount. So what I did was I purchased, this was online, this was a Evolution Gunworks tactical scope rail, and you can see it there. It's one piece. It's probably about 7-8 inches long, that rail, and it has all the, you know, the Picatinny weavers, same as you would on an AR. And it you know, comes with a little wrench and the screws with it, and you just screw that in, you know, use a little bit of Loctite, and it sets up perfectly. One thing of caution with this and any other job you're going to do is be very careful not to over tighten these Allen head hex screws in receivers, whether it be a Ruger, whether it be a Savage like this, because I have been there where you get a little too macho and then you end up having to, you know, drill out or tap and put in a new hole, and it become a pain. So snug them up firmly, you know, enough. Use a little bit of, you know, blue Loctite on there, and you shouldn't have a problem. But this rail comes 0, or this one here I got, it has 20 minutes of angle on it. A lot of people, if you're going to shoot, you know, more than 100 yards, and to compensate for the bullet drop, you have to really dope up your scope. And a lot of times, if it's zeroed, you're going to run out of vertical elevation on the scope. So this one cants at about 20 minutes of angle, so your scope is actually canted a little bit, so as you shoot out further, you don't run out of play with your scope adjustment. And like I said, I've shot it, I love it. It's a very good scope rail. The scope that I have on here is a TruGlo scope. It is illuminated. It's made by TruGlo, and it's a 6x24 by 44, and really like it. I think it was like $69, $70. And you know, rule of thumb, anytime you're buying a scope for a gun, you don't want to pay, you know, more than half the gun is worth for the scope. So, you know, if you got a $100 rifle, maybe you want to, you know, buy a scope for $50, because it doesn't make any sense to buy a, you know, a $300 scope for a, you know, $100 rifle. I mean, you could if you want, but typically that's the rule of thumb. So I think this was about $70. It is illuminated. It comes with some caps, which I like, you know, as opposed to having those two, you know, rubber things with the elastic. I mean, that is, you know, machined aluminum. You got one for the back as well as the front, and it also comes with these, I think I bought this extra for $2 or $3, sunshades. You know, because these are good to have out on the range, or if you guys are hunters and you don't want to get any glare in the sun, you know, these screw right on, and they, you know, they even screw together. So if you wanted to make a long one that went out, you know, all the way to the end of the gun, you know, it comes with 2 of them, one 3-inch. I think one is like 4 or 5 inches. And you know, you could just screw this thing on and just, you know, just really go crazy with it if you want to. But you know, like I said, this is all aluminum, it isn't plastic, and you know, it's pretty good. And I did have a little longer barrel when I purchased this. I did cut it down to, you know, within legal limits. I think this is about like 16.5 right now. I think it was 20 inches. I just thought for this, you know, I like my guns a little more compact, and I thought it looked really odd, you know, hanging way out here to 20 inches. So I just shortened it up. You know, I crowned it myself, hand did it, and you know, it shot beautifully. I mean, it's a pretty good little shooter. Let's see here. The other thing, when you order a stock, if you're going to change the stock, I got to mention this. The standard stock, the trigger guard is molded to the plastic. Okay, so it doesn't come with the trigger guard. Boyd sells those now, so if you need to get the trigger guard with the screw And I think you could also get the screw for the magazine well. There's a piece of, it comes with the metal, but you need to get the screw here, okay? And he sells those pieces too. So I got that and very happy with it. I just got a Winchester, I think this is a 6 by 9 inch bipod. Haven't really had any issues with it whatsoever. You know, just goes on there, didn't have any problem with that. Comes with a standard little 10 round steel magazine. You know, nothing with this. Goes right in. There's a little lever here, you pull it down, it pops out. So, you know, there's no big problems with mag changes. And it's a good little shooter. The True Glow scope, like I said, haven't had any problem with that. I zoom it out to about 1820, and I see the target as clear as I ever would want to see it with any other scope, so I don't have any complaints about that. One thing, the trigger on this is really easy to work on. This trigger, actually, I worked on this a little bit, and all you have to do with this is there's a little spring in here. If you take this apart, it's about the size of a you know, like a Bic pen that you would, you know, click. There's a little spring in there about that size. Diameter is a little smaller, and all you need to do is you just cut those little springs off, you know, maybe half a circle at a time, and then refit it into the gun. You know, because if you do it too much and you cut too much off, it's going to mess up on you. But if you do a little bit at a time, you could get that trigger really good where you want it, you know, to shoot. So I just want to share that with you guys, pass on the information. If you're looking for a fun little plinker, inexpensive to get into on a weekend for you, your kids, hunting, I would recommend the Savage Mark 22, equipped with a Boyd's SS Evolution stock bipod, you know, an inexpensive scope to get you going, and you're making it out for a good time or weekend. Thank you very much. I will see you guys again.